Check this time.
And today we're talking about Source Nexus and someone like me using Source Nexus. So to explain it all, Robbo, tell us all about Source Nexus.
Source Nexus is an old telephone exchange, I guess, for want of a better term. It takes signals from one place and lets you send them to another really, really easily. So for people like podcasters, people with home studios like myself, even guys like you who can't afford or don't need a patch bay necessarily, this thing just makes life so easy. So the example I'm going to use today is just for a home voiceover artist, because it's a nice, simple setup. But podcasters, anybody can use this, and it's not too dissimilar in the way you would set it up. So I've taken the liberty of setting up a simple little Pro Tools session. So let me just share my screen with you here. So here we have my microphone. You can see me coming in there. This is the master track, so that's the output. Everything that's coming out of Pro Tools is going out of that track and coming back to me so I can hear. And then this one is what's called an auxiliary track. So it doesn't actually have, I can't record on that track. As you can see, there's no record button here. What that does is it's like a bit of a highway for audio. It can send stuff out and it can have stuff come back in. So that's what our auxiliary track is.
Now, if I'm using Twisted Wave, which is either mono or stereo, but it's not multi-track, I wouldn't be able to have an auxiliary track. Is that correct?
You wouldn't be able to have an auxiliary track, and maybe in a future chip I can show you how to set that up, because you could still use Source Nexus, but it would be a bit different the way you set it up. So maybe we should write that down, and next time I can do that. But if you're using Audition, Steinberg, any of those multi-track sort of things, they will all have a bus or an auxiliary track that you can open that will do this. So what's happening is, as my microphone's coming in here, it's being sent to this master track that we talked about, but also this little fader here is taking that audio and sending it down to this bus. So it's sort of splitting it out, I guess, and sending it down to here. So, and then on this bus, I have my instance of Source Nexus set up. So I've called it, so you can see it's sending to remote and it's receiving from remote. Now they basically come from here, and I can create as many of those as I want. So in Source Nexus control panel, you can see I've already got 1 million of them that's going to all sorts of different places. That's labeled. So, but to keep it simple and for people who don't understand this, to remote from remote, I find is the easiest, because remote can be anything, as we'll see in a minute. So my audio is going out there, and when I show you in a minute, I'm going to use Zoom as an example. You'll see the Zoom audio coming back here and being sent from this bus back to my output here. Okay,
so now once again, if I'm using a mono or stereo only editor, DAW,
it will deal with either.
It will do. I can still do it.
It will deal with either. It will down mix stereo. It will down mix stereo to mono. And if a mono signal comes in, obviously it'll just split it out to stereo, left and right. So basically what I've done is I've opened up Zoom in my settings just to sort of show you how this would work. So at the moment, this is my speaker, and it's something weird, which it shouldn't be. But if I was going to use this today to record an interview or to jump onto a chat with clients to record remotely, I would want to listen to what's coming from remote. So I would go down here, I would find my from remote setting, which is there. So that's what's coming back from Zoom. And I would want to send them what I've got on to remote, because I want to send it to the people who are remote to my studio. And bang, all of a sudden, there you go. I change it to remote and there I am. You can see me.
Okay, cool.
Now, just to show you as an example, if I go test speaker, it will play that little Zoom tone that everybody knows and loves. And if you watch these meters down here, you're going to see it come back. So I'm now listening to my Zoom call. And done. Bang, we're done. I can turn that off. I can record on my track. The beauty of this, also is that if they say, can you play back that last take, all I need to do is take my microphone out of input and go back and play the take. And because everything's set up, that's going down the line to them.
Okay. So this basically is the same as loopback.
It's the same as loopback, but the beautiful thing about Source Nexus is it doesn't have to be this. You could send the output of Spotify to your DAW if you needed to record part of the Pro Audio Suite podcast. You'd go into the Source Nexus window, and you would say, let's create one called From Spotify.
Yep.
And then you would go into Spotify, say, I want you to play out of From Spotify. You would go into your DAW and say, I want you to record what's coming in on From Spotify, and all of a sudden you're recording that. So you can shove audio anywhere and everywhere.
Wow.
It's like a big telephone exchange.
Beautiful. Well, there you go. That's a bit of a crash course on Source Nexus.